Today is the 26th of June, 2008. We are at the Buffalo Erie County Historical Society. Interviewers are Wayne Clark and Kathleen Vogel-Matthews, and we're interviewing Kendall Monroe, who is a current Iraqi War conflict veteran. And for the record, Mr. Monroe, would you please state your full name and your date and place of birth?
Kendall Lamont Monroe, date of birth 10/30/60.
Okay, and whereabouts were you born?
Buffalo.
Okay, did you attend school here in
Yes,
Buffalo?
Kennington.
Okay, and did you graduate from high school?
No, I had to get a GED because I went into the Army at 17.
Okay,
So I thought when you come back from your basic training that you can get back in school, but they said no, once you sign out, it's a permanent thing, so I had to go and get my GED. So I obtained that same year when I came back. So,
okay, so you went into the Army. When did you go in?
77.
Okay.
October 77.
Okay, and whereabouts did you go for your basic training?
Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Okay, what was that like?
Cold.
Cold?
Matter of fact, that's when I signed up, but I went to basic training January of 78.
77?
78.
78, okay.
Yeah, that's when I went to basic training.
Okay,
Froze. You think Buffalo is cold, ain't nothing like that. Missouri is cold here.
okay. Was that your first time away from home?
Yes.
Okay. And once you completed basic training, where did you go from there?
Well, then I came back here.
Okay.
Because my AIT was at Fort Leonard Wood too, so I actually stayed there 13 weeks.
Oh, okay. And what was your AIT?
Engineering. Engineering skills, building bridges, blowing up bridges, demo, heavy equipment operator.
Okay. And then you came back here.
For Army National Guards.
Okay.
Yes.
And what unit did you belong to?
152 engineers at Connecticut Street Armory.
Okay. And at that point, you were an end-day soldier, so you did, what was it, one weekend a month?
Yeah, 1 weekend a month. 2
Okay.
weeks a year, summer camp.
Okay.
Then you had those days that you were signing up for school, like I did a couple of schools there, that they sent you away for 2 weeks.
Okay, what kind of schools were those?
BNOC.
Oh, okay.
That was just schools for NCOs to get you prepared to be an NCO.
Okay.
Yes.
So did you go to a PLDC?
Yes. That was at, oh wow.
Was
So
it
long ago.
was it here in New York State or was it in Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania, I believe it was.
Indian Town Gap?
Indian Town Gap.
Okay.
Yes, it was. Well, you know about that place, huh?
Oh yeah, I went there too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not one of my favorite places.
No, it wasn't mine, especially when it rained. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't mine, and they had bears in the woods.
Uh-huh.
We had a compass course. Seen a couple of bears, so they had to get us away from there. So.
Okay. And where did you normally go for your summer camps or
Fort
AT?
Drum. We went to Fort Drum, AP Hill,
Okay.
Fort Lee, Virginia, Maryland, Fort Belvoir, Virginia. That's where we went.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh man, it's hard to remember these places. It was a couple, but Fort Drum was our main home.
Mm-hmm. Okay. At the time, what was your job in the Guard unit?
Well, at the time I was a squad leader.
Okay.
I mean, I went through the range from private all the way up to E6. So,
Okay.
um,
So you started out as one of the before you became an NCO, you were one of the PFCs, Spec 4s.
I was
One of
demo specialist.
demo specialists.
Yeah, that was a good thing. Coming up to the rings.
Okay.
So I learned a lot about deck core, putting minefields in, taking them out, blowing up TNT, plastic explosives. We used to have the sheriff departments to come by and show us how to mess with people's phones, how to rig your door, trip wires. So
Uh-huh.
That's a good thing. That was a good thing to learn.
Okay. What were you doing in civilian life at the time?
Working at Buffalo General Hospital,
Okay.
transportation.
Okay. All right. As you progressed up through the ranks to E6, you became a squad leader and
Platoon sergeant.
platoon sergeant. Okay. And then you did that right up until the unit went to Iraq?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Were,
Yeah.
were you with the same unit? Or?
No. At that time, he was doing his reorg, and you transfer to another unit. So I was with the brigade, 42nd Brigade.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's what I was with.
And what was your position with them? Were you a...
Well, I was a construction foreman.
Okay.
The brigade. And my job was, when I went to Iraq, was going to be a construction foreman.
Okay.
And all that changed within minutes. And I
Okay.
became a convoy commander.
Okay. Is construction foreman, what did that job entail?
Well, that job until once I got to Iraq, my job was to go and visit these work sites,
Mm-hmm.
look at the blueprints, make sure these guys are doing everything right. If they needed equipment they didn't have, my job was to order that equipment for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but it didn't turn out like that.
Okay. Now, when did you go over to Iraq?
We got there, well, we left for training at Fort Drum in 04, June of 04.
Okay.
We trained for 6 months, then we got to Kuwait.
Now you whereabouts did you go for that training before
Fort
you?
Drum.
You spent that time
6
at
months
Fort Drum.
there.
Okay. And you went over with the 42nd Infantry
Brigade.
Division?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Was General Toledo
Yes.
the division commander?
Commander.
Okay.
And General was the XO, I guess that's what you would call it.
Okay. What was, now you went to Kuwait first?
Right, when we left Fort Drum, we arrived in Kuwait November of 05.
Okay.
November of 04, I'm sorry.
Okay. And how long were you in Kuwait for?
A month and a half, because January of 05, that's when I went to Iraq. Because I
Okay.
had to start training for this convoy commander.
Okay. What was your impression of say Kuwait when you first arrived there? What was the weather like? Was
Hot.
it was hot?
Hot. And Kuwait was dusty, you know, sand, you know.
Okay.
At nighttime it would get cold. I thought I was here,
Mhm.
back in Buffalo. But in the daytime it would bounce up to 100 degrees, no problem.
Mhm.
But you know, it was different. And there, you know, you had to grow up real fast. You couldn't go there and play games or, you know, goof off, or, you know, no drinking was allowed, you know. So
Mhm.
it was for real.
So you were. So when did you go into Iraq?
January 05.
January of '05. Okay. How was that different than being in Kuwait?
Because the war was going on. I mean, it was a lot of
Mhm.
RPGs flying, missiles
Okay.
flying in the air. I mean, it was
So you were armed at all times. And,
24 hours a day.
Mhm.
He was armed 24 hours a day. It wasn't a doubt. Even when you went in the shower, you that weapon was with you, because you never know when you came out what was going on. So,
Mhm.
oh yeah.
So you ended up as a convoy commander.
Yes.
Okay. What was that like the first time you went out?
I mean that I don't know how to explain it. That was a different world.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, once you went out there, once you left that gate, it was, and nobody's ready for no war.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like walking the street and some guy come up to you and tell me he want to beat you up. It's totally different.
Uh-huh.
There was a lot of chaos going on because you just didn't know. You actually didn't know what to do. You found this other unit that was there, and they trying to train you,
Mm-hmm.
and your eyes is just focused on everything because you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what's coming at you. And they said, you know, look out for these IEDs, and just the way we do this is our procedure. So you're trying to pick up everything as much as fast, because this unit is leaving in a few months.
Mm-hmm.
So my job was to come down there and pick up from their convoy commander. I went out in their convoys, and I tell you, that was the scariest thing, because I never experienced nothing like that before.
Were you hit on your first trip out?
Not with this unit.
Uh-huh.
My unit was hit. We did like over 250 convoys, and this day my convoy got hit. We came on attack. We was in Saddam's bath area.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about that? What exactly transpired? I mean, were you like in one of the lead vehicles? Or?
Right, I was in the lead vehicle,
Uh-huh.
and we was leaving. I can't even think of this place. We was leaving one of the fobs, and all of a sudden my rear vehicle, my driver called up and said he just got hit with an IED. So after he called up and said he got hit, SOPs is that we keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that's my friend, you know, so I went back to go get him. I turned around, everybody else kept going. The only vehicle was that turned around was my vehicle.
What kind of vehicle were you in?
Humvee.
Humvee?
Yeah.
Okay. Who else did you have in the vehicle?
But it's my assistant and my driver and my gunner.
Mm-hmm.
That's only the ones who rode in the vehicles, your gunner, the assistant, and that was
Okay. Now, were they armed with like an M60 machine gun, or
was
the gunners in the vehicle?
Yeah, 60. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Okay.
60 cal, 240 Bravo, you name it, we had it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went back to
Yeah, I went back
aid
to
him.
get him. Actually, went back to help. I mean, that was our first time we getting hit. So by that time I turned around, because it was like going around in a circle.
Uh-huh.
He called up to me and said, "Let's keep going. Let's keep going."
Okay.
So he was able to drive. But it's kind of good that I drove behind him because he, for a while there, you know, the vehicle slowed down because that tire, you only can go so far on the tires.
Oh, so the tire was shredded. From the bomb.
Right. The tire was shredded. So actually, we was bunched up. It was two vehicles bunched up. If these insurgents wanted to get us, then they could have. But it was an ambush going on. They had an ambush for us. The way this road was going, we supposed to, we was going and then making a right up this road. But when he said he got hit, that converted everybody to go straight, and I turned. So if we went up this road, I wouldn't be here today.
Oh, so by you doing that, you avoided the
Will
ambush.
of God, I'm telling you, that was the will of God
Uh-huh.
that happened because they had an ambush set up for us. That's why when he got hit and I turned around and we finally was close together where he couldn't go nowhere, and we had to hook his vehicle up to my vehicle, so we had a tow chain on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and that took a while for us to do. So they could have just came and shot us up and everything, but everybody was up the road to the right. They was up the road waiting for us, but we never made it up there. The rest of the convoy went straight.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have in the vehicle is we call it it's a brute force tracker. And that's like a satellite, and it tells us how the road is in front of us or which way to go.
Uh-huh.
And it's like a big giant map. So up ahead it was a bridge. So that was a good way for our escape, but as we got closer, the bridge was blown up. So we had no way to get out. So actually we had to turn around and come back the same way. So what happened was, the vehicle we couldn't fix. We could not fix the vehicle, so we blew the vehicle up.
Uh-huh.
Took all our ammo, everything we had in there, and everybody just piled up. And since it was the rest of the vehicles down, everybody just piled up in each vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So we had room. But as we was down there fixing the tire, the insurgents was coming. They was moving in, but you know, wasn't nothing that we can do. So we blew that vehicle up and started beating feet the other way.
Mm-hmm.
But before we left, that Blue Force tracker really helped us because that was the only way that we can call for help.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our tanker brigade, the Marines. We finally got a hold of them, and they was coming. But we knew they wasn't coming soon enough, so we had to beat feet out of there where we was. Because it was only, I think, a total of 9 of us, and these insurgents was coming. We only had so much ammo. We have a lot of ammo, but it's only so much. But we didn't have no cover. We was wide open. We was open. So we finally determined, we had a lieutenant with us, and he finally determined, because once you go into war like that, then if it's an officer with you, he all of a sudden he takes over.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like blew me away, but the officer said, "Let's go, let's do this." And
Mm-hmm.
so we beat feet back down the road, and that's when the fight really started. Once we turned around, because all them insurgents were there, they was waiting for us then. So we beat feet back down the road, and the firefight started. We pulled, they stuck us. We was right in the middle of the road, we had nowhere to go but to get out and fight. So that's what we started doing. One of my gunners got shot in the left arm, and good thing he had his stuff on, his armor, because it was a pierced armor weapon bullet that went through it, and it just stuck right there. Other than that, it would have went through and killed him, and went right through his heart. So I said the fight with us went on for about maybe a good hour and a half. Then the Marines came. I mean, it was like a John Wayne movie. I couldn't believe it. They came with these 155 howitzers, these Bradleys. It was 3 of them that showed up, and all of a sudden the back door bounced open. The Marines flew out of there and started shooting. Everybody was shooting. The 155s was going off. I mean, but you couldn't see these insurgents because they was like in a village.
Uh-huh.
So you couldn't see these guys, and they were just RPGs was just coming. bullets were just flying, and you shooting,
Uh-huh.
but you couldn't see these people. You know, they was hit and miss, and that's how they was doing.
Were you able to get dug into the
No,
ground or
no,
anything,
no,
or just
nothing. You was
lying
It was just
flat?
wide open, just like this table.
Just lying flat and firing.
That was it. And the funny part was that when you're doing stuff like that, your adrenaline is going, so you really don't know. Your mind is somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Because once that gunner got shot, I had to bring the medic bag to him. All of us is qualified as medics there.
Uh-huh.
So that was a good thing. And
Now, medics, were you a combat lifesaver?
Lifesaver, yeah,
Okay.
that's what it was.
Okay.
And so I had to bring the bag from my vehicle all the way down to the 4th vehicle. So I had to run down there, I had to hold my weapon, and it was so funny, like I said, I was running, and I kept dropping my magazine. You know, I was running, trying to hurry up and beat feet so that, because this dude was bleeding, I didn't know,
Yeah.
you know. So I finally got it down there, and everybody was calling me, come on, you gotta come back, because everybody needed help for fire. So I ran back down there, and next thing I know, we had to get this guy out of there. We had to get him out of there, because we didn't know how severe that.
Uh-huh.
All we seen is bleed and everything. So after Marines was finally dug in out with those Bradleys, then they finally gave us, okay, y'all get this man out of here. So we beat feet out of there and got him out of there. To the next farm, which I cannot remember, McHenry. One of the farms over there was McHenry. So
Now, was he the only man that was wounded?
Yep.
Okay.
well, he was the only man who was wounded, but the brain-wise, I mean, it affected all of us.
Yeah.
It really tore us up.
Now, did you have any female soldiers with you? Okay.
No, but we had females in our unit,
Mm-hmm.
but no, not on the convoys. We didn't have no soldiers.
Okay. All right. So you made it back to the unit, back to where you started from, right?
Well, we made it back to another fob to take this guy, and we stayed there overnight till the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't want us to do no more traveling. So the next day, they escorted us to a certain area, which was kind of better, until we really got back on the road and got away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The whole part, all these fobs, which is like, I stayed at Spiecher, which was in Tikrit.
Mm-hmm.
Most of these fobs was like some was in Bala, and it'll tell you the memory thing of trying to remember these names of these places is something else. But each road was a bad road. They call them IED roads.
Mm-hmm.
They was really bad because I'll tell you, a lot of people didn't make it coming out of there. A lot of people didn't make it. A lot of them, being that we was a brigade unit, we had battalions underneath us, and we lost a lot of people. Just for that 1 year, we lost, even 8 months, we lost people with just from IEDs. It was just terrible.
Now, did your vehicles have any sort of armor plating that?
Oh yes, these vehicles we had, but you know it's still wasn't enough because, like I said, when his vehicle and they threw the IED at his vehicle, but it tore that tire up, and we had a tire, and excuse me, that vehicle had a hole in it too, the body.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what, they can never make the best thing. They'll never have the best vehicle because the IEDs keep improving. They keep improving, so they'll never have it.
Okay. So that was your first time out.
Well, that was our first time getting hit.
Yeah.
We had over 250 missions, convoys. Before that was our first time.
Okay. How many times total were you hit on convoys?
Well, we were shot at, but we was really hit this time.
Okay.
We were shot at, and we usually just keep going.
Okay.
You know, you don't stop.
While you guys were shot at on some of those missions, did they hit the vehicles? And
Oh yeah, but you keep going. You don't stop.
Yeah.
You don't stop and want to fight.
Yeah.
You want to keep going. So, you know, you got your 50 gunners up there. You got your M60 gunners up there. And they light them up anyway.
Okay.
But you keep it moving. You don't stop.
Okay.
You don't pull over. I mean, you had to go to the bathroom. Hey, you had to do what you had to do inside that Humvee, or hold it.
Uh-huh.
You don't pull over to no tree and just. But it was that was an experience. It made more of a man out of me.
Mm-hmm.
But as you come home, a lot of people don't understand what you went through or how your mind thinking. They don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm getting an understanding about the Vietnam veterans now. Because before I didn't. I thought they was just joking, how they had these dreams and how they can't think right, but it hits home.
Do you find yourself dreaming a lot about?
Oh yeah. Oh, I can sit here and I can be right over there right now. It's so easy. Because when we did the convoys, our thing was to drive in the middle of the road because we didn't want to be on the edge because of the IEDs. Sometimes when I be driving out there, it'll come right to me. All of a sudden, I'll get in the middle of the road and start driving.
Now, when you were on these convoys, did you encounter? You must have encountered like the civilians, like crossing the road
all the time
with cattle or whatever.
That's the scariest part when you're going through a village or when they're crossing cattle or the goats, whatever, and the camels, because you didn't know what was it all about. But everybody, I usually call ahead to everybody and say, "Wake up, let's go, be ready, be prepared, because something's finna happen." You know. But so far, I mean, that was good. Nothing never happened, but you have to be prepared and awakened for something like that. Especially in them convoys, sometimes you'd be up 18 hours and you'd be tired. You didn't want to do no traveling at night because that's when they really was trying to get you at nighttime. Did
you ever end up traveling at night?
Oh, many times. Many times. Yeah, we used to hate that, but one nothing you can do.
What kind of speeds did you travel
70.
at? About 70 miles an hour?
A lot of them convoys, when we had big convoys, you know, when you had to escort trucks with supplies, they only do like 30 miles. So those convoys got hit real hard. Because the faster you go, it's hard for them to hit you. Not saying they couldn't get you, but it was just hard for them to hit you. A slower convoy, that's when they can sit there and with their little remotes and they count. That's how they know. That's how good they was. They used to count 3 cars, 4 cars, whatever, boom, and the 5th car they get you. So that's how they did it. And they were so slick. They wouldn't hit the first car. It was like hit the last vehicle. See, the last vehicle, then everybody slows up. So they never hit that first vehicle. Or even sometimes they would hit the middle vehicle. Just try to slow you down or try to throw interference on you. You know? But that was a great thing. I was glad it was over. And that's the reason why I got out, because I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go to Afghan because I didn't want to fight nobody in the mountains. It was bad enough fighting there in Iraq, going through towns. But
now, when you went over there, how old were you?
45.
45. Did you find that a lot of the guardsmen over there were older fellows?
Yeah, yes, and young. We had a lot of young. We had a lot of young. But that's when you went over there. That's when you seen everybody doing their job, and you found out about a lot. You found out a lot of things too about people.
What was the food like over there?
The food was good. Because they try to. The stress level was very high over there. So they try to feed you good. I mean, you could have went over there, you could have gained 100 pounds over there eating. Or you could have lost weight, So, but the food was good. The food wasn't no problem. Even where you slept, it wasn't a problem. It was just being there. That was enough stress. So once you come from your missions, you want to go in your room and stay by yourself, You want to relax,
What about water? Did you have to constantly drink water over there?
Constantly. I mean, you must have drunk gallons. Maybe per hour, because at 100 degrees you had all this gear on, so you can walk and you was sweating. Yeah, it was hot. Yeah, you drink a lot of water. Too much water, but you drink more than you drunk pop soda over there. You drunk a lot of water,
Now, did you find that it was better to put something in the water like Gatorade or Kool-Aid or something like that?
Yeah, because you got tired of water. But they had a lot of Gatorade. They had those energy drinks over there that they said it's bad for you to drink here. But we drank them over there like it was okay. I guess because we was always on the run. So the drinks, we needed those energy drinks to keep you going. With that hot sun, I mean, at 130 degrees, you already got about 70 pounds of clothing on and gear on. So.
What about sand? Was it a problem? I mean, I've heard vets say that they had sand all over themselves and
Yes.
all over their equipment, and where they slept, they just couldn't keep sand.
No, because it's so fine. I mean, it can come in here. I mean, the sandstorms is worse than a blizzard. And I experienced so many sandstorms. I just couldn't believe it. I don't know how people live in it. But yeah, the sand is bad.
Mm-hmm. What about? I heard stories about spiders and rats and.
I ain't never seen no spiders or even insects this big. And you know what I'm talking about, when you crush them, you hear it. And sometimes you think these animals are looking at you talking, what you doing? That's how big they were. I never, yes. Oh yeah.
They were, what do they call them, camel spiders?
Camel spiders, yeah. Them spiders, they were big.
Did they bite?
Well, I didn't ever get a chance to. You was always scared because they can come in your room, I mean, so.
Okay.
You always had to check your gear all the time. It's just like, snakes or something like that. You didn't have to worry about those snakes, you had to worry about those spiders.
Okay.
And they were so big, it's unreal.
What about rats? Any problem with them?
I really didn't see no rats.
Okay.
With the spiders. All kind of flies, but they was huge. They was big. They weren't like your average fly here or your average bug here. They was big.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that's why you didn't see no rats.
So you were over there for
A year.
just a year?
Yeah, in Iraq for a year.
Okay.
Yeah, after that, then they sent me to Taji. I went to Taji, which is in Balaf. I went to Taji for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And that was,
What did you do there?
I was training in the Iraqi Army on engineer tasks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That must have been interesting.
It was interesting because I stayed with the Iraqis.
Mm-hmm.
So this was like a basic training. It was like basic training for them.
Uh-huh.
Right. And those guys, now basic training for them, you could be 65 years old and be in the Iraqi Army. You know, it's not no 18 years old, no, 65, 55, 14 years old, they grab them right off the street, take them over there.
Uh-huh.
So the bad thing for them was that while they was in basic training, when it was time for them to go home, they were scared because the insurgents was waiting for them.
Ah. Now, did you hear of any instances where people you trained were killed?
Oh yeah, every day. Yeah, a lot of, yes. That was the bad thing. I mean, I felt bad for them. That's why a lot of them used to come there in civilian clothes and leave in civilian clothes because they were scared to go home.
Mm-hmm.
Scared people, they was waiting for them. They was waiting for them right outside the gate. Oh yeah, blew up, bombs, RP, we got that base got hit so many times it was pathetic, but they was trying to get those troops. Anything that was helping the Americans, they was against them.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
that was an experience for me.
Now, did you find trying to train them any kind of language barrier?
That was so funny because they once they born they go to school to learn American.
Okay.
Yeah, learn how to speak American. So that wasn't that bad. So it was me trying to learn their language,
Mm-hmm.
which was bad. And then they didn't have much uniforms. We provided with them with the uniforms and PT gear.
Mm-hmm.
They'd come there in flip flops. They didn't have no army boots or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we gave them army boots, stuff like that. They didn't have none of that gear. It was tough teaching them how to march, doing PT. These guys, you talking about overweight, these guys are overweight. And like I said, the old guys, it's hard. How you gonna train somebody 45, 50 years old how to do exercise? He already,
Mm-hmm.
but
Now, was it normal for the Americans to be doing PT over there in that heat?
oh yeah. Oh, we had to keep up our. Oh yeah.
Oh, you guys did PT over there?
Oh, like it was okay. You had to. That heat didn't mean nothing. Your body got used to that heat.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. It's like when I came home. I mean, right now I still turn the heat on in my vehicle because I be cold. Because your blood thinned out.
Uh-huh.
My blood, I guess it's still thin. Oh yeah. But it was. Oh yeah, you did PT. You did everything like you was at home. Ain't nothing changed. You still, you know, the Army, you still got to be in shape.
Uh-huh.
They didn't tolerate that. No. But you know, there's a lot of broken ankles over there because you're in them boots constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So people got ankle problems, foot problems, leg problems. My knees was messed up over there. I got carpal tunnel on both of my arms from being over there. So,
Okay.
so it was bad over there.
Mm-hmm. After your stint at training, where did you go next? Or was your time up and you...
As a Taji,
Yeah.
till I came back to my base because we were leaving.
Okay. How was it leaving there? Were you relieved that your time was up?
Oh, that was like a new birth. It's like born again, being born again.
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you. Halfway through your tour, did you get to come back to the States?
No, I didn't come home.
Okay. Okay, you did you get any kind of R&R at all?
Yeah, I went to Qatar, which is in Saudi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I went there for 4 days.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't come home for about 2 weeks.
Okay. All right. What was it like once you left the country? Where did you go? I mean, did you get on a military transport, or was it a civilian? When you left to come back to the States?
Oh yeah, we left. Let me see. When we left Iraq, we went back to Kuwait.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to sit there for, I believe it was a week. A week, I think it was, that we sit there. But you got to relax.
Uh-huh.
Once you left Iraq, it was, Kuwait was friendly.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't have no issues. You didn't have to walk around with weapons and wearing on that armor equipment, helmet. You got to walk around, relax, less stress. And we took a military plane from Kuwait.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, military plane from Iraq to Kuwait. Then we got on American Airlines from Kuwait.
Okay.
And that took us to Ireland. I think that was about a good 15 hours. Once we got to Ireland, we sat there for a minute, got a little drink, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Felt good. Ain't had no drink in a whole year. So it felt good. And then we sat there for about an hour. Then from Ireland, we arrived to Canada. We sat there for a minute in Canada, and I forgot what part of Canada it was, but it was cold.
Uh-huh.
We sat there for a minute, then we finally arrived in the States.
Whereabouts did you land in the States?
Fort Drum.
Fort Drum.
Right back to Fort Drum.
Okay.
And we stayed there for a week or 2 weeks to get.
Were family members allowed to come to Drum while you were there? I mean, to welcome you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so about that Fort Drum.
Okay.
No, I don't think so there.
And that was to basically to process back in.
Talk to counselors, see what they can help you with.
Okay.
How soon you get back, they send you to the VA so you get your paperwork together.
Were there a lot of problems amongst the soldiers with issues where they needed counseling?
Oh yeah. Oh, one of my drivers, after we got hit, he went to another world. That just messed him up completely.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like I said, nobody's not made to go to war.
Yeah.
Man or boy or whatever, nobody's not made for war, and that messed him up. But everybody got messed up. There's still guys today that haven't even been to the VA yet, and we've been about 2 years because they're in their own world. They to themselves. You try to call these guys, and they don't return your phone calls because everybody's in their own world,
Mm-hmm.
and it gets like that. You could be feeling good, and all of a sudden you either watch the news, or you'll hear about somebody's doing bad, and it mess you up. It's not. I never thought I would be like this, but it's a messed up thing. It's really messed up.
Okay, so once you got back, you went back to your unit,
Yes.
and then it was like business as usual.
But it's not like that. It took your job. They gave you time to come back to work.
Mm-hmm.
So I took off. I stayed away for 4 months. I really didn't want to go back to work. I really didn't want to be around no people. It's like when I came home, I told my family I didn't want to see nobody. I really didn't want to see nobody, no welcome home. I just wanted to come home and relax.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it didn't work like that. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to.
Okay. All right. So you came back home. You took 4 months off. Then you went back to work. When did you end up retiring from the Guard?
Oh, February 07.
Okay.
February 07.
Okay.
Which I missed that. I said maybe 6 months ago, I wanted to get back in and go back over.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, I've been doing that for 29 years, so I missed the camaraderie, the friends, you know, I miss all that stuff.
Uh-huh. Okay, what are you doing today?
Well, I work for the New York State Thruway Authority.
Okay.
Yeah, bridge repairman. I work on a bridge on the Niagara section of the Thruway.
Mm-hmm.
From city line to ground on the bridge.
Okay. And are you receiving any sort of counseling at all?
Oh, constantly.
Okay.
Yeah, I go to VA every 3 weeks. I go to VA to see my counselor.
Okay.
Your psych doctor, and you go see your medical doctor. Oh yeah, it's a must.
Mm-hmm. Are they giving you any sort of compensation for it?
Oh yeah.
Or disability?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for post-traumatic, for my needs. But, you know, the money and everything, it's just, you know, you want to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And you want your mind to get better. You don't want to be like you are or having these dreams or because your tolerance level is real low.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't like to argue. You don't like this people pushing you because you really just want to be relaxed. You just want to,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And it's 2 years, I'm still the same way. I mean, it's just you take this medication to sleep. I get like 5 hours of sleep a day, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning, regardless.
Did you find that your experience over there has it had a detrimental effect with your civilian job?
Yeah, because guys don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what they cry about and talk about, you really don't want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I really didn't want to come back to work, because I really know what I was coming back to.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like I said, a lot of people don't understand. What they cry about, say, well, I didn't get my 15-minute break, or I missed my lunch break or something. I said, you know those guys out there fighting right now? They're not worried about lunch or 15 minutes or crying about paying a gas bill or whatever. They trying to survive.
Yeah.
So they don't understand that, and there's a lot of people don't understand. Some people don't even care. What I find, some people don't even care. They just look at you like, you know.
Okay. Is anything else you'd like to talk about, or that we haven't touched on about your experiences? Have you stayed in contact with some of the people you were overseas with?
Oh yeah, we right now what we do now, every third Sunday we go into each other's churches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so but you know it's really hard to get everybody together because everybody's still doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you got people in Jamestown, Fredonia, that they only come down once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
You only see them, then you try to get up there to see them, to see how they're doing, and you still got people at Fort Drum. You still got people in Mississippi, Alabama. We had a lot of people leave the unit and just go, you know, just get away, because it totally changed you. It changes if you don't think it. It changes you. And that's why I say I think each American need to go experience a war. When you come back, then it won't be no divorces, won't be no arguments. Everything be nice. I'm telling you, because death was over there was 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
We could be sitting right in this room right here, all of a sudden a mortar come in and blow us up and be gone. You see, people don't understand that. They think you know you gotta have these expensive houses. You gotta argue every day, but for what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's what my thing is. I really think each American go, and your president. I won't talk about him.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your interview.
Thank you.